Alright, what up guys, Andre and Crosspower, it's Mark here, and today is Saturday the 15th, and today I'm going to talk to you about how this coronavirus, or should we call it the COVID-19, that's the official name that the World Health Organization has given this virus, so now it's called COVID-19. How the virus has affected China and how I think it's going to make a permanently impact and difference to the way we live in China. Today I think that they said that they've even ordered more shops to be closing again. Some of the restaurants that already opened a couple days ago, they're actually closing again. So we're going to have a cruise around town and we're going to have a look, and I'm going to tell you my top 5 picks of what's going to happen. Alright, but first up, let's check the scoreboard and see the body count. The numbers are saying today it's still going up. It's plus 2,644 since yesterday. So the total we got here today, the total impact is already 66,577 people that's they say that's been affected. Out of that, there's 8,173 that has been recovered, and there's an additional 1,524 that didn't make it. So as we were saying yesterday, I don't know if these numbers are real or not, but we're just going by what they said. And according to Shanghai, Shanghai is still super low. Shanghai's only got 326 people that has been confirmed that's got it. Only plus 8 from yesterday. And so far only one didn't make it. So it's still pretty small level. Alright, so I want to talk to you today about the top 5 things that will permanently affect or change how life is in China. Alright, so in no particular order, number 1 is shopping. So as you know, like online shopping has become pretty much the norm around China, or sort of like the trend around the world, with places like Taobao, which is sort of like the equivalent of Amazon in the Western countries. In Taobao, everybody buys online and gets stuff delivered to their house, and that was more for convenience. But as you can see, now with the situation at hand now, online has really picked up a lot. Everybody doesn't want to go out, or they can't go out, so they're just ordering online. So there's all these deliveries, and people just doing all their shopping online. So the trend as this sort of thing has kind of like just, how can you say, pushed it even further, pushed it more so that people are buying online versus offline. So even when this thing is over, people are already getting used to buying and purchasing everything online. All the fancy malls, you can see they're all dead, and obviously they're really hurting. But even the malls and all these stores, they start to sell online. So the trend to pushing online will continue to grow. And obviously online, you don't need to deal with the upkeep of the store and presentation and management fees and operation costs, staff, etc. So overall, the benefits of having a physical store now is a lot less. Obviously you can make it fancy, you can really brand it out to your own liking, but people don't really seem to care as much now. So like all the stores, even the really fancy stores, have all online presence now. Alright, number 2, online education. So now with the thing with the schools being closed, language centers, gyms, any of these kind of places that offer actually some kind of a learning or training type facility have all gone online. Obviously they cannot operate. The gyms or the schools are still closed. The schools have been closed down at least till, now they're saying at least till March, the middle of March or the end of March. And what's going to happen with the students, nobody knows. So that now, before the first week or two, people sort of didn't really follow that, but now every facility, every gym or every school, everything is turning to online. So as online, obviously it has a different experience than a face-to-face contact. But in this case, in a situation like this, at least they can continue some kind of training. Being online, you can actually also reach more people. One coach can train more people, or one teacher can physically, one thing can be recorded and played over and over. So in that case, it's sort of like, it has its advantages as well. And people can kind of look at their training all the time. They don't need to go to a certain particular time, or they can review it in their own time. So that's actually more of the benefits of actually online. Offline, obviously, online you don't have the actual interaction with the teacher, where the teacher can actually correct you or do something. So this is probably one of the drawbacks. And another thing, if you require certain tools or different things, unless you have it at your own place, then that might be a bit of an issue. But for the normal learning, I think in the short term, people are getting more used to being online, and then you're going to see the trend continue as this thing slows down. People already get used to studying online, so maybe we'll see that when this thing is over, people will still spend a portion of their time, a part of their time learning and studying more online. Number 3, working remotely. This is a factor that came up because obviously they said that you're not supposed to go into work, or the people that were coming back to work, you had to get clearance from the government to actually start working again. So over the last week or so, more people have actually began to work from home or work from other areas, maybe even from even other countries. Everybody's basically just working online. Alright, we're here right down in the middle of another street called Shanghai Road, which is the second main drag in town. This is probably one of the busiest. This is Nanjing Road and Shanghai Road, both are really the two biggest streets in Shanghai. As you can see, there's still some people around here, and as we look around, there are still some stores. There are still some stores that are open. Some things you cannot replace. You got that feel of like going into a store like a Nike or the Under Armour. You can see they have that feel of, you know, really sporty look. You have your own brand and your own design. But then gradually people get used to shopping online. It's kind of like back in the day with Blockbuster. Or I can even remember I used to enjoy on the weekends going to the video store, picking up a few DVDs, feeling right through them. But now it's all gone online. Netflix, all this kind of stuff where you just have online demand. So like people can just go online and they can just find what they want, and they can watch it when they want, what they want, when they want, how they want to consume it, just on a phone, on a tablet, on the desktop. So that convenience level is going to get brushed over to people, and then people really accept more so the online. So getting back to the other one, working remotely, people, as you aren't allowed to work from the office, what are you going to do? So companies obviously saying you have to work online, and then you can see people, companies are setting times where you just need to clock in from remotely. So you could be from any place. You don't even need to be in the city. You could be in another city or another country even. And I think this would also be a growing trend as people see that obviously jobs can be done more. Not everything needs to be done in the office, but on the flip side, there definitely has to be stuff that's handled face to face, depending on your occupation. But the issue now is that as people get used to working more remotely, that means that companies are going to be more flexible and let people do that, or because people are getting used to it now. Afterwards, maybe a lot of guys, they don't want to go back to work. They want to go into office. But another thing is that why people like to be offline, companies don't need to pay, perhaps they don't need to pay a full-time salary, or they won't need to be employed as a full-timer. It can be the rise of a consultant or a freelancer means that the company doesn't need to pay all the workers' insurance or any medical things like that. So being a freelancer is kind of also or part-time or not working full-time in the office, then a company can actually save a lot. They don't need to pay for insurance, or they don't need to pay some of the other overheads as things that a full-time salary for full-time staff would be. So there's different advantages. There are some advantages there are advantages for working remotely. How much of a change that's going to happen? Well, this is something that will definitely be on a case by case thing, depending on their company, depending on their business and operation. Obviously, some things are still hands-on. You have to be you definitely have to be in the office with some stuff. You cannot be just like some guy would be doing all the time. But I think a lot of guys eventually is going to stem towards a operation where you don't need to be at the office all day, as long as you can monitor your productivity somehow and prove that that kind of model works. Maybe some guy will start to continue to use this way after the virus is gone. Alright, number 4, the logistics software, the facial tracking, all the high-techy stuff. So this was already coming into effect before. So with the social credit system, where they were tracking everybody's purchases, how is all the software improving daily, all the tracking of people, how many people going through, where did they come from, what did they do, what were their medical history, what's their background, all this kind of stuff. This kind of, with a virus in place, this is sort of like really forced the government to really squeeze down on the technology to improve and track. As they fight the virus, they're going to be learning a lot of new skills and actually picking up lots of new tech in ways to track people and to tracking the virus. So that's going to definitely wash off afterwards as they become more efficient at dealing with the situation. Then they can track more and more stuff, because people don't realize how big of the country that China is and how they've handled the situation now. It's quite amazing, that's for sure. Alright, number 5, health and wellness. Obviously this is playing a big role, because before people weren't paying attention to their fitness, and now I would say that this is the more of a concern that people before, as you can see, there's people, most people that were affected were already elderly or predispositioned with certain medical conditions. Therefore, the health and fitness is going to really taking a lot more people paying attention to that. I think that before, a lot of guys, fitness wasn't on their priority, or health wasn't on their priority, and now it is. People are going to be paying more attention to being healthy and training more. Well, we're going to throw in one last one, a bonus, or you could say lucky number 6. This kind of leads on from number 5 anyway, from health and wellness, is actually hygiene and cleanliness. So before, I think that, well, as you know, in China is definitely not the most hygienic and clean country, but overall in the bigger cities there's a lot of cleaning going on. If you haven't been around, you'll see that the streets are actually quite clean, and every morning there's a lot of guys cleaning up the place. And even though there's rubbish on the night before, early morning there's heaps of street sweepers, people keeping the place clean. So now everyone's paying more attention to washing their hands and not to spread viruses, not to spit. So before, a lot of guys are spitting. I don't know if it's just because everyone's wearing a mask that they cannot spit, but that's for personal hygiene. A lot of people are going to be paying more attention to being at least living a more cleaner and healthy lifestyle, which overall is a good thing. So as you can see, markets and stuff is still open. A lot of the food places are still open, so that's the main thing. As long as you can still get food. So what if your favorite restaurant is closed and your other stores not open? For me personally, hasn't really affected me, because I don't really go to eat out anyway. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's my predictions of what it's going to be like, how it has affected, how the virus has affected or changed living in China. If you have any other ideas or what you think that has changed, you can leave your comments below. And also, if you want me to talk about anything, you can also leave your comments, leave some questions. If you have any questions, you can leave them below as well. And if you like this content, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button.